Triplefour.
Let's talk about it. Okay, Triplefour podcast.
Yeah, he said this dude makes a meatwad fucking thing for no reason, and then he says Jim Norton.
Bob Dylan I find personally obnoxious, but the Beatles destroyed culture.
Oh my god.
I got Elon Musk to smoke weed in my Tesla the other day. That's not even a big fucking deal.
Things are crazy right now. You don't know shit, do you? We really didn't.
You know, you can't always get what you want, but you'll find sometimes that if you try,
You just might get it.
Oh, you get it!
Triplefour podcast episode 39. You're listening to Radio Free Missouri. Sup, Foreheads. You've got me, Dan, on the podcast, the host, the gracious host. Everybody should be thankful that I'm giving them such a great opportunity. You're welcome. And we also have with me Josh Zopel.
You hear me?
Sorry, my computer was acting up. We have Nick Wandersea. Yes. And we have a special guest today, a fan favorite, a favorite fan, really. The Betsy Ross of the podcast world, Maddie Bowen.
Sup? That's me.
So it's 3 weeks into social distancing, April 2020. How we doing, folks? How we doing?
Fucking not great. I pulled my 2 nights ago. I was reaching up to close a vent that was blowing too much hot air, and I threw out my back like an ancient person. And I was bedridden yesterday, and I'm doing a little bit better today.
You got bedridden during coronavirus, and it wasn't because of coronavirus.
Huh.
You're just an elder. You've evolved. In 3 weeks, you aged like 50 years.
Well, he was a dad last week, but...
Yeah. But now
Those
he's
files
like
were deleted.
great grandpa. So,
Yeah, now he's...
crazy what a week will do to you.
Right there.
Quarantine.
Nick has Spanish flu at this point. That's how old he is. We did try to record an episode last week, and it was lost to the podcast gods. But we're back.
I'm still just listening to Stephen King novels on Alexa. It's been 2 weeks of straight that. Run to Christine. Let me tell you something. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind off it.
You're losing your mind.
I'm losing my mind off it.
Christine is good, though.
Yeah.
The movie,
I
at least.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into cars.
If you just keep, if you just, you need something. I don't think this is.
It's not what the doctor ordered.
I mean, at this point, you gotta do anything. And you gotta toss out ideas. They might work. Who knows? We're 3 weeks into this. We all have officially lost our minds. So, if something that breaks that cycle, you gotta do it.
That's good advice. And Maddie, you actually you got the corona today, didn't you?
Yeah. I've got the big C. She's here with me. She's caressing me. And, we kind of hit it off at first. And, as the day wore on, I'm getting a little tired of her, and she's really not, leaving me, but she's here. Yeah. I don't know up from down anymore. I kind of forgot what clouds look like. The sun.
Honestly, that sounds like you're actually getting woke. Not like you're getting sick. You're getting more woke.
Yeah, I actually, and it's crazy because I was thinking just the other day about the world and how it just might be flat, like a paper,
Oh, no.
That's pretty cool.
So,
Wait a minute.
yeah.
And this brings me to a point I've been trying to make for a while. For going on at least 6 or 7 months now, that things are crazy right now. Does anybody agree?
Whoa, dude.
You're throwing out concepts that are beyond my capability.
And this brings me to our brand new segment. Things are crazy right now. Hit that theme, Scholar.
Is it just me, or is it getting crazier out there?
Because
Things are crazy right now.
All right. I saw an article today for our local St. Louis news. It was a picture of a bunch of people in a Chipotle, and it said, "City to issue warning." For 20 people who gathered at a Chipotle on Grand.
Wow. That's quite the threat.
Issue a warning. Imagine getting an email today that says, look, we know you were at Chipotle earlier. We have the photos.
That's like a dad seeing his son do something wrong and says, hey, what are you doing?
What we talk about.
What we talk about?
Social distance.
Separate now.
The picture is kind of hilarious because when you think about it, in any other context, like, months, years ago, this picture of just some people standing in line at Chipotle, meaningless. But it comes out today, and the city government has to issue a warning to people based on this.
So here's the question. We've got this whole statewide, hey, stay the fuck inside thing. I mean, is that all that they can do? If I go walk outside right now, is someone just going to be like, hey, don't do that.
You can go outside. You can walk around. That's allowed.
But it's a stay-at-home order. I thought they were like, don't do that. Just stay the fuck inside. Don't go anywhere unless you're going to the grocery store.
I'm pretty certain it excludes just going for a walk or something. If something is necessary for your health, I think it's totally allowed. And also, I think even in the hot spots, even in like New York and LA, I think you're still allowed to actually walk around as long as you're taking the proper precautions, which is the 6 feet, and in the more dire cases, like wearing facial coverings.
Okay, so fine. I walk outside to the park with 5 people, and we're standing hand in hand.
Now that's not.
So that's. I mean, the worst they can do is be like, "Yo, no." Shouldn't
have been at Chipotle.
You shouldn't have done that.
I shouldn't have done that.
You should not have done that. I mean, that's not. Yeah, if it's a bunch of people gathering, that's. Technically, at least in Missouri, the order is 10 or more. So even theoretically, I don't think anything can really be done about 5 people or whatever. Which
I'm going to do something about all 5 of those people.
I mean, I consider it a problem. But governmental orders, specifically in a conservative state like the one we live in, they're very loose. They're very flexible.
Yeah, you'll also find that, states like us seem to have very steadily increasing number of cases as opposed to other states.
Yeah, if you recall, the old folks' home less than a mile from my house now has 35 confirmed cases.
Oh, dear God.
So, 3 deaths. I'm going to go to Chipotle. I don't know about you guys, but I could give a shit. I need a burrito.
I just need a burrito bowl stat.
Now, the thing that you have to make sure to do is when you go to Chipotle with, 30 people and you're all holding hands, that you also personally deliver that Chipotle together to retirement homes. That's an important thing you need to do.
You also ask them to cough directly on the bowl.
You don't want to cough in the air. You want to put it
in the bowl, cough on it, and then hand it.
I like the idea of a human wall of people joined hand in hand, walking up to a Chipotle, slowly.
Very, very like Us style.
Yeah, like in Us. Yeah, the ending.
I saw something really good on the TV today. Donald Trump, he said,
not ringing any bells, but continue.
And I quote, "I know a lot about helicopters."
Was that the first thing he said when he walked up to the microphone?
I mean, it might as well have been because it's the only thing that really resonated.
Well, I'm glad. I don't want a leader who doesn't know much about helicopters. It's kind of an essential skill.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, I'm kind of actually feeling like a sense of relief.
Look, I have still an issue.
Okay.
He doesn't have any pizza experience.
Fuck,
Next president,
he's not even in the pizza realm.
next president,
Right.
he has to have pizza experience.
Look, things are still crazy right now. The other day was supposed to be opening day of the baseball season, right? And I saw a news story on the TV news broadcast, and they were like, all right, and now with sports, and they throw it over to the sports guy, and he's like, well, even though it's opening day and there's no games being played, there are still some fans celebrating. And then it cuts down to downtown outside of Busch Stadium. And there was just this old couple, these two people sitting in lawn chairs outside of Busch Stadium, and they're drinking champagne and eating potato salad.
Oh my.
And they're like, well, there's no game, so we figure we at least come down here.
Makes sense.
I think people would think that would be the American dream.
I was thinking it's like the most St. Louis thing imaginable.
I wonder if they forgot that the Big C was around, and so they just decided, hey, it's opening day. We have season tickets, and so
Do they
went all the way
actually
down
do
there.
that every year, regardless of what's going on?
They actually were on a Jared Leto type meditation thing. They were out in the desert. They had no idea that there was not going to be baseball being played. So they packed up their picnic, their potato salad and champagne, drove downtown. In other news, a tiger tested positive for coronavirus at the Bronx Zoo.
Shouldn't have gone to the Bronx.
Big C, get in there.
This is the new question. How did they get it? Like Harvey Weinstein, how did he get it?
Well, he must have like traveled at some point, yeah? Or like, I mean, I guess I don't know much about his current situation and where he is, but I feel like he's got to be like in contact with a lot of people.
Maybe they ran out of prison space, so they were keeping him in the Bronx Zoo.
Wait a minute.
You know what? Yeah, that actually does add up.
And look, my first question is, how did the tiger get a test? Because regular people are not even necessarily able to get tests unless they traveled.
Also, what like symptoms did the tiger have where they were like, let's use a fucking test on the tiger?
I think they said, the tiger had a cough or something.
Wait a minute.
Wait, is that code for? What does that mean?
The tiger had a cough.
So we tested him. Also, you know how these tests are administered, right? They have to put a swab like through your face, like to the center of your skull. So,
but that's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that like how they test for the flu as well? Like it's pretty much the same test. I mean, when I got tested for the flu way back, they put the shit like deep in my face.
Yeah?
I didn't appreciate.
No, you just made that up.
Oh, you're
That's
right.
made up.
Okay.
But
Someone just did that to me for fun.
no,
Yeah, after they swabbed your the deep canal, they're like, I'm just fucking with you. You're good.
yeah, it was a social experiment on Maddie. But I want to know, question number 2, what was it like for them to put a swab into a tiger's sinus canal? Was there issues? Was it difficult?
I assume it was a sleep. I mean, that was my first assumption.
No,
There was
that's way too logical.
Oh yeah, so he was playing around, doing tiger stuff. Hey, Tony. Come over here. Come here a sec.
Tony
Check
Corona.
I heard you have a. I'm gonna check you out.
Honestly, I feel like the tiger would just be so taken aback that he really wouldn't have a reaction. Like, whenever I've had to take my snakes in, for example, and, like, some shit gets done to them, and they get, a stick shoved up their ass or, like, down their throat or whatever, they're usually so surprised that they're not really sure how to react, and they kind of just sit there after you let them go. I'm sure a tiger would react similarly.
Did you say a stick shoved up its ass?
Yeah.
Snakes, where's the ass?
It's called a cloaca.
There you go, yeah.
It's at the end.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like maybe an inch or two, depending on the size of the snake, from the very tip of the tail.
Where's
on the bottom.
Where's its cheeks?
They're there. You'll see them.
Anyway, this has just kind of been an elaborate plug for my new band, Snake Cheeks. Since we can't perform live at the Sinkhole, we're going to be doing a show live streamed.
Don't forget about the local support from Worm Curtain.
A lot of animal noun themed bands playing at this set.
Are worms animals?
Yeah.
What's the legal definition of an animal?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, so tiger cough.
Tiger Cough sounds like an EP to me. Like Snake Cheeks Tiger Cough EP.
No, that's the bill, dude. It's fucking it's Snake Cheeks, Tiger Cough, and Worm Curtain. This
Sounds
Thursday
killer.
at Not the Sinkhole.
Yeah, I'm very industrial sound.
Oh, yeah. That sounds good. I like that. All right, look. If a monkey tests positive for corona anytime soon, if like an orangutan gets it, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, that's what I thought the first animal was going to test positive for would be like an ape or like a monkey. That's what I would think. Like,
I just don't understand how they're getting it. Like, what is going on?
Nadia, the 4-year-old female Malayan tiger, tested positive after developing a dry cough and is expected to recover.
Good for her.
okay, I kind of want to see a video of it coughing now because I'm kind of curious.
Also on this page, a picture of a bat being held down with a swab in its mouth.
Wow.
Real life things.
Oh, it has it.
I guess
I know it.
the tigers have also experienced a decrease in appetite.
Maybe they're just sad because not everyone's looking at them anymore.
Anyway, animals can give you corona now, so stay 6 feet away from your pets. Social distancing has been going on for like 3 weeks, and I know most people are not working and stuff. So, if you don't respond to my texts, you're an asshole. I know you're near your phone. If you don't respond to a text, you're an asshole. Anybody? Thoughts? Agree?
Well, I mean,
mean,
still technically.
I mean, you know, I'm sleeping a lot, so.
Well, I know that you're asleep 80% of the time, so I might as well.
That's a real statistic.
yeah, you know, Dan, it's actually almost a little like hypocritical because, like, I texted you at 4:30 in the morning and you didn't really respond until 11 a.m. And like I knew you were home, so
You did not.
I'm taking Maddie's side on this because Dan, you were very rude to me today. Okay.
Part A, Maddie texted me at 4:30. The first time Maddie's ever been awake at 4:30 in her entire life. Part 1. Part 2, Nick tried to say some fucking incorrect stuff about Twin Peaks, and I will not tolerate such things.
Okay, look, I gave you legitimate feedback. Those were jotted down at like fucking 4:30 in the morning, I guess, when Maddie was awake. And
the whole world's awake at 4:30, apparently.
Time doesn't matter anymore.
And they have bad takes about Twin Peaks, and they're trying to text
fucking
me.
watched Blue Velvet. I watched the thing that you asked me to watch.
Excuse you,
I took notes.
This is not time for films.
It's not time for films.
Things are crazy right now.
Yeah, things are crazy right now, and I'm about to go crazy. Okay, I fucking took notes on the thing that you asked me to watch, and then you were
incorrect.
A dick about it.
You took some incorrect notes. That's a damn shame.
You know, Dan, I think you really might be on one because you were quite rude to me the other day.
No,
about my opinions about a film. Okay?
No, I was being hilarious. I had a great bit that you know is funny, and it's just great, and everybody clapped.
No, you know, Dan, I think you need to relearn your place. Okay, this quarantine is really getting to you, and it is unacceptable.
You know what, Dan, as the host of the podcast,
Yeah, tell me about something as the host of the podcast, please.
You need to check yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself, Dan.
Thank you, Maddie.
Next,
Josh, you got complaints?
tune in next week as me and Josh talk alone on Triplefour podcast. We talk about factual things about films and how Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet are similar, but not, they don't have actual callbacks in them like some kind of punk-ass Marvel Cinematic Universe shit. And how Maddie has got some kind of stupid thing she wants to talk about hairstyles or something at 4:30 a.m. and expects me to respond when I'm asleep like a good working adult who's not attending a job right now, but still responsible sleeping schedule because I'm an adult. And this has been Things Are Crazy right now.
Things are crazy right now.
What a gracious host.
That was some good content.
Without the guest.
Yeah, that was some good content. It was. So we got a cast of characters on this podcast, especially today. And you might be wondering, you spent so much time listening to our hilarious bits, our absolute all-time comedic gold level jokes that we have, and just insightful information about films and music and stuff, except for Nick and Twin Peaks. Disregard anything he has to say about that. But otherwise, we are so, interesting and great. You probably are wondering, who are we? What kind of personalities do we have? If you haven't already gleaned what they may be. And our guest today, Maddie, had a concept for something we could talk about on this year episode. The Myers-Briggs personality types. Now, Maddie, why don't you tell us about the Myers-Briggs personality types?
Well, there are a lot of them.
16.
Yes, which is a lot, if you ask me. But
it's more than 15.
Basically, you've got your 4 letters, and they all mean things. And it's kind of like I versus E and all the good stuff. And it sums you up as a person. And it bounds you to that, and you can never leave it. That's who you are forever now. No, actually, they tend to vary a lot for most people. For a lot of people, it kind of depends on the day. If, you're INFT or INFJ or EN, whatever the hell. So that tends to vary for a lot of people. But, I am special, and I'm one of those people where it literally never changes. So,
okay. Don't give away yours yet because I think we should try to guess what each other's are. So to make it clear, I'm going to try and describe the actual letters. So introverted versus extroverted, intuitive versus observant. The third category is thinking versus feeling. Fourth category is judging versus prospecting. And then 16personalities.com also does assertive versus turbulent. That's a specific one to this website. All right, I have a guess. Now, I already know what Maddie's is because she spoiled it in a text message to me. Great job, Maddie. Ruined the podcast.
Wow.
Literally
Way to go.
Already knew. We've talked about this before.
That's true, but I didn't remember yours necessarily, and I don't know if you remembered mine. But
I do remember.
Oh, thank you.
So.
All right. I'm going to take a guess. Don't tell me if I'm right yet. I'm going to guess that Josh is an ISTJ or an ISTP. And I'm going to guess that Nick is either an ENFP or an ESFJ.
You were really close.
So introvert, extrovert, that's pretty self-explanatory. Sensing versus intuition. It's sensing. Okay, guys? It's not observing. Anyway.
3 people.
They focus on the 5 senses, interested in information they can directly see, hear, feel, and so on. They tend to be hands-on learners and are typically described as practical.
That's the S?
Yes. Intuitives focus on a more abstract level of thinking. They're more interested in theories, patterns, and explanations. They're often more concerned with the future than the present and are often described as creative. Thinking or feeling. Thinkers tend to make decisions with their heads. They're interested in finding the most logical, reasonable choice. Feelers tend to make decisions with their hearts. They're interested in how a decision will affect people and whether it fits their values. And then J versus P, judging or perceiving. Judgers appreciate structure and order. They like things planned and dislike last-minute changes. Perceivers appreciate flexibility and spontaneity. They like to leave things open so they can change their minds.
All right, Nick, you go first. Reveal.
All right, Dan, you were almost spot on. I am INFP.
I feel like you're kind of an extroverted person, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have guessed P as well.
Yeah, I believe I am, and I went through a lot of those answers, and my results say 51%. See, here's the thing about, okay, so my type is mediator, and there's a lot to be said about this type as well as I'm sure every other type, but I am almost dead down the center on a bunch of these. I got 51% introverted and 49 extroverted. I like to think of myself as a very extroverted person, but this also clears up the case of I am an introverted extrovert, and I always have been.
Yeah, see, I could see
There
that.
the percentages on there. I think that helps like add insight in it.
A little bit. See, because I always I am totally fine with being by myself, and I actually prefer it apparently 2% more of the time. But I also have no problem with being assertive and being in a social setting and talking to people.
Yeah, see, I feel like I definitely recognize you as a person who has a lot of friends and connections and is not afraid to talk to strangers. Like every time you and I go to eat somewhere, or if we sit at a bar somewhere, you will talk to the bartender.
Yes, I will.
It is interesting, though, that it's almost directly down the line, though. Because I can see you as an introverted person, too. I just think that in almost every situation, in like a social situation that I've been with you in, that you've been more of an extrovert. So it's kind of...
Yeah. There was a specific note on this personality type that said something about being hard to get to know. Like having a lot of, not necessarily layers, but just... And you would think that being like you're saying, being extroverted, that I'm very open, and yes, I do wear my heart on my sleeve, but I have a lot of deep beliefs and personal alignments, I guess you would say, that it's I don't really get into that with a lot of people. I just talk about I don't even know how to vocalize this, and that's kind of exactly right there. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not a huge fan of conflict. That's definitely one thing. And earlier,
there's been no conflict so far.
Certainly not. So, on the mediator weaknesses, it says taking things personally. Dan, when you messaged me this morning and gave your counter notes on my notes between Twin Peaks and fucking Blue Velvet, I fucking lost it. I was about to, I was about to message you and tell you I was gonna punch you in the fucking face. Like, I hate you so much.
See, but that's because we know each other well enough to where I can be mean to you in a text message.
Yeah.
Same thing with Maddie. I can be very mean to you, Maddie, because I know that it's cool, it's chill, it's fine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But real talk, Dan, I wanted to punch you in the fucking face this morning.
Glad to hear it.
Coming from the mediator.
What were your other percentages?
49 extroverted, 51 introverted. I got 56 intuitive, 44 observant, 31 thinking, 69 feeling. Nice.
Uh-huh.
And then 46 judging, 54 prospecting, and 63 assertive, 37 turbulent.
All right.
I think
Josh?
Josh.
Yeah, so you were close, Dan, but I am INFJT. That's that fifth one that they,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm 75% introverted, which that makes a lot of sense. I can, I have to force myself, a bit more in terms of if it's at a social gathering, even and I hold that back a lot. But now, since with my, when I'm in business now, you kind of have to kind of put yourself out there. So it's always a bit, so I guess the 25% kind of wiggles its way. But yeah, apparently I'm intuitive at 56% versus 44%, which I didn't agree with necessarily because I'm always like just not like just trying to force my way into conversations. I'm always the person that always just views everything.
Yeah, see, I marked you for an S, for an observant.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but apparently not. I guess for me, yeah, I guess it just means I have some ability to make decisions internally. I guess maybe it's more or less for myself and maybe for others. But still, I would still rather think I'm observant than intuitive. And then, yeah, feeling is 57%. I thought I was thinking too. So those are two I'm always on the fence at the most, but those are the ones that are the closest to 50-50 is the intuitive and feeling.
Yeah,
So,
I would have pegged you for thinking as well.
Yeah.
Same.
I mean, I took this about, I would say 3 years ago, and it was I was ISTJ or INTJ. That's it. So I was thinking, I just, yeah, I don't know, maybe it just changed. Yeah, I'm dumb now.
Test is fucked.
So yeah, test garbage.
Yep.
So yeah,
Well, that was what I liked most about the test was when right before you get into actually taking the test, they tell you to be completely be honest, be completely honest, even if you don't like the answer. And that's the whole point, is revealing your true self.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this is since it's fairly long, they do make it very well where they ask the same questions in different ways. So you're getting a consistent answer, and it's not just like, well, in this one scenario,
Right.
fits. They're asking the same question multiple times in multiple ways. But
There was a lot of that when you're in a social setting or at a party. Are you in the corner or are you distracted by other things kind of question? And I found myself very consistent in that.
Well, I just remember along with the test, there's a lot of questions about and I think from my perspective, I always like to think about the future, but I don't. And I guess in this sense, it's like I was considered an advocate. It's my person. Apparently, they just have this. Apparently, according to this website, the description says they have an inborn sense of idealism and morality. They're not ideal dreamers. These individuals are capable of taking concrete steps to realize their goals and make a lasting positive impact. Now, I guess I do things for myself that can make a positive impact, like me taking steps forward to advance my career. But I think with I feel like with the future questions, it's more like I think about technological advances, so I think about that a lot. So I feel like that's not really, because one of the things is a very creative, which I don't have a ton of creativity to me. I do things creatively, but not in a general sense. I'm more of a thinker, I have concrete evidence. I'm a visual learner, things like that.
Yeah, no, I found myself when taking this test, because this is probably the third time I've taken a Myers-Briggs thing. I've taken this website's test. This is the second time I've taken this one. But I found myself this time just seeing right through the questions. What I knew what the answers were going to correlate to, at least for the most part. Are you in the corner at the party? I know that means I'm going to be an introvert thing, which I didn't have to take a test to tell me that. But I just saw myself seeing through all the questions, and I actually got a different result this time than I did the past 2 times I've taken it. But we'll get into that.
Damn, Dan's judging hella hard.
What?
Speaking of judging,
I'm gonna go 70% judging.
No, Maddie, go first.
Well, I'm
Me first.
not done yet.
Josh isn't done yet, Maddie.
Yeah,
What the
wait,
fuck?
Who am my
Fucking
god!
hell,
Maddie,
Maddie.
shit. What's wrong with you?
God damn.
Holy
Ain't cutting the line.
God, be more intuitive.
sorry.
People.
Go on,
So-
Josh.
Yeah, I'm 61% judging. Maddie.
What about your identity one? Assertive versus turbulent.
Yeah, I'm 72%. So
I heard 72%, then you cut
I
it
guess
Yeah,
yeah,
cut
I'm
out.
72% turbulent.
off. Okay.
Okay.
Totally
Yeah,
tubular,
you know,
dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely assertive. You guys know me.
Oh yeah.
So now I relinquish the seat.
The C.
Okay. Well, first, does anyone want to guess mine except for Dan, who already knows?
Like I said, I don't know what all of the 16 personalities, but if we're talking, you're definitely an assertive person.
You have to break it to guess. You have to break it down by the letter.
Okay.
That's
Well, then with Maddie, I'm gonna say assertive.
It's not the first letter, but whatever.
Okay.
Start
Well,
with the
then
letter.
what's?
Let's go backwards.
Oh, wait. I gotta go back to the letters.
Nick loves conflict.
I don't like conflict. Anyway, well,
Okay, Maddie, I'm gonna go extroverted. So we'll go E-I-E-I-O. That's my guess.
Great.
and
Yeah,
that
I
was
like
next
that.
guess. I would say I-S and an A, I guess.
ISA, the classic Myers-Briggs type.
Did I cut out again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
All right, so I love
This is a
this.
good segment.
It's amazing. I love
Betty's a USA.
it. Mighty is I. Okay, so my official fucking answer is ISTJ and then assertive.
Okay. So, no. I am INFJ and then T.
So okay, so you're me.
Yep.
Same exact
Turns out.
person.
Josh, have you ever taken this before?
Yeah.
Like me? Do you?
I
Oh,
don't think I've never taken this one specifically. 60 personalities, but I took one, so it might. Yeah, it could be different.
Said he was ISTJ in the other one.
right.
Oh yeah. ISTJ or INTJ, one of those two.
Yeah. Well, Nick, I don't know why the fuck you think I'm extroverted. I don't know what part of me gave off that vibe, but you're wrong.
Because you keep trying to
Horrible.
interrupt Josh and take over his part of the
Yeah,
Yeah,
segment.
that's true. That is definitely what an extrovert does. So.
you're definitely assertive. That's for sure.
All right, that's fine. You guys can fill it out for me. Take the test as me, and then let me know what you get.
Listen, I know more about Maddie than Maddie does. Okay.
That's probably accurate. Yeah.
Well, I guess Josh's
Also,
personality
Maddie,
type.
I've only ever met you. I think we've only ever hung out like maybe 4 times.
Yeah. And somehow you just know me better than me. It's crazy.
No, I do. I know everyone. I'm the mediator.
And he's an introvert somehow.
See, mine is 67% introverted. And I honestly feel like that's lower than it probably was before if we're going by percentages. Because I feel like since I've come to college, I've indulged in socializing and getting by and having to be around people. And I talked to quite a few of my friends here that took it, and they were like, yeah, I don't know why I'm extroverted now, but I definitely am. Definitely entered college as an introvert. So I feel like that whole transition has definitely shifted for a lot of people. Not a lot for me. Still 67% introverted, but
You know what I
I can get by and I can bully Josh. So that's what's important.
Throw
That's
right
what
back
really
at
matters.
51%.
You know why I think people say that about going to college is because you choose to go to college and you choose what your major is and you choose from there, kind of the people you hang out with. So I feel like there is a lot of like categorization that puts you in audience with people that are like you. So it's a lot easier to be extroverted.
Yeah.
You kind of like
I would
filter
agree with
out.
that.
It's like almost a filter.
Filter out the riffraff, yeah.
Yeah. You filter
Yeah.
out the,
Well, especially being here, I feel like this is not a very general school. You know, engineering stuff, science. Anyway, so they're all relatively similar people. I mean, we've obviously got a interesting spectrum of individuals here, but
The best.
you know. Oh yeah. I think that's my bid.
No, you didn't list. You only listed your first percentage.
gotta finish.
Oh,
That shit.
okay. You want to go through all of them. So I'm 66% intuitive, 76% feeling. You know, this one always gets me because I like to think that I'm a thinker. And every time I take this, I am very much not a thinker, which is rude.
You're a feeler.
Yeah, I'm blind. Just feel around, get through. Anywho, 63% judging, and then 88% turbulent.
Okay, I was close. I said 70% judging for Maddie. Or no, that was Dan. No, I said 70% judging for Dan. But
Dan's is going to be 100% judging. Let's be real.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
All right, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. 95%.
well,
I'll be conservative.
Let me I'll crunch some numbers here and give you the low perspective. I thought, see, I was going to peg you more for thinking.
Yeah,
I thought
you know,
you'd be-
that would be cool,
I
but
thought you'd be-
at the end of the day, my heart leads.
Isn't it amazing how this test makes us feel like we're not the things that we think we are, and therefore we suck? Like we feel disappointed.
Yeah.
Like I said, my result changed, and I'm like kind of disappointed because it felt pretty close to my first analysis, and I think I still will identify as my first analysis.
So I'm trying to think about which one of yours would have changed. Because you were also...
Well, I was going to give Nick and Josh a chance to guess, but you fucking ruined it.
Oh.
Anybody? Well, segment's over. Maddie ruined it.
Okay, well, we still don't know which one of yours changed, though. Okay? This is still a fun game.
Wait. Fuck, did Dan reveal who he is? Because I fucking totally cut out.
No,
See?
Maddie
It doesn't
revealed
stop.
who I am, or what I was. So, Josh, you heard it, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I guess, Nick, you can have a shot at...
I think you're pure evil.
Thank you.
Nick does not like.
Dan's
Look,
is just Jay.
I got a fucking degree...
To the bit zone.
I got a degree in David Lynch studies, and this dude's trying to tell me some shit about Twin Peaks. We'll get to it. Anyway,
So, Nick.
yeah, you got to guess,
What do you
or
think?
We're waiting on you, buddy.
No, I told you you're pure evil.
Okay, well.
yeah,
then
okay. So he's not
keep
playing
doing
along,
that.
not playing along as usual. I've taken, like I said, I've taken this test before, and I've taken a Myers-Briggs. I think like when you take the practice ACT or something, they give you a Myers-Briggs. I've definitely taken it before, and until this most recent one, which I took a few days ago in anticipation of this podcast, I was INFJ, which is what Josh and Maddie are both, according to their most recent results, even though Josh doesn't seem to agree as much, and I guessed the correct one, and therefore I am smart and amazing and a genius. Maddie, I get as an INFJ. That makes sense to me. And also, funny enough, INFJ, the least common personality type, apparently.
It's true.
Breaking barriers here.
Yeah.
And yet 3 of us are INFJs, and Nick, you were an ENFJ, weren't you, Nick?
No, I'm an INFP. So
INFP.
we're all INF.
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay. So, that's what's funny because I took this test again, and this time I was an INFP. So,
Well, that's why you guys don't get
Wait a
along. You're
minute.
the same person.
Yeah, we're
No.
the exact same.
He answered the questions reversely when there's a judge decision
Yeah.
to be made.
See, that's what's weird because so
wait, Dan, are you what is the actual personality? Is it mediator?
on the newest test I took, I was mediator, INFP. But on the past ones I've taken, I've been INFJ, which is advocate, which is the one that Josh and Maddie got. So this is why everything's fucked and nothing's interesting. I was proud to be an INFJ.
This is the funny one to me is
full of introverts.
is the seek and value harmony. People with the mediator personality type have no interest in power over others and don't much care for domineering attitudes at all.
Okay, but
They
you
prefer-
know,
They
know.
prefer a more democratic approach and work hard to ensure that every voice and perspective is heard.
What do you think I've been doing this whole podcast? I've been like, Maddie, go ahead, Josh, and don't step on each other. You know, I've been a fucking mediator this whole time, and I'm so fucking sick and tired of being stepped on. Anyway, you know it's a performance. It's a podcast. I'm playing a character, obviously.
No, this is serious.
Yeah, everything's fucking serious.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, Nick.
We're day 21 in this. And we're
Okay.
all fucking losing
The
it.
quarantine's insane. All right, look, Nick, you tagged me in a meme last night that proves that I am the fucking like I am the mediator because
That's very true.
Nick tagged me in a meme. I don't know if Josh and Maddie saw it, but it said, "Who's the type of friend to look you in the eye?"
It's the type of friend that'll keep eye contact and tell you I'm listening when everyone else is talking over you.
Yeah, which you know, I don't recall any particular situations where I did that for you, but I know I do that. I definitely don't think I relate to the prospecting versus the judging as much because I do think I'm more judging. My actual stats were 75% introverted, which I think it was probably higher in the past. 83% intuitive versus 17% observant. 65% feeling versus 35% thinking. I think that probably was higher in the past. 64% prospecting on the new one versus 36% judging. And then also, now this one's really fun. 97% turbulent.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
I'm a fucking crazed man, obviously.
Goddamn plane
That's
crash.
higher than mine, and mine was 88%.
I'm only 3% assertive, so everybody shut the fuck up because I'm trying to do this segment.
Assertive.
This is one of the 3 out of 100 times that I'll be assertive is on a podcast that I host.
The 3% is leaking right now.
Oh, his 3%'s coming out. I know that's going to be said to me in the future.
3%.
Oh, you said fuck you.
But yeah, I feel more like an INFJ, so I don't know what to tell you. And it's kind of ridiculous because, like I said, INFJ is known as the most rare of the personality types. Although I think they ought to crunch their numbers again because I feel like some of these other ones.
Well, so I talked about this with my friend who took it, and she was like, you know, I know a lot of INFJs and I get along with them, but it's weird because they're like the rarest one. And I kind of have a theory that it's just, we just tend to be closer together. Like we tend to get along better, and therefore you're more inclined to speak to and be surrounded by people of a similar personality type. Because I don't think I really know anyone who like gets sensing. That's not really, I just don't know people who get sensing. That's just not a thing. Everyone's always intuitive around me.
See, like Joe is definitely an S and a T.
Yeah.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But as a general rule, it's like, I don't really know a lot of people like that. And I know they exist because they're generally in the majority, but I just don't happen to surround myself with them, especially being at school, a very specific school. Like, it's just not a thing that I'm ever around. So I feel like that plays into it of like why we tend to know a lot of INFJs, even though they're like the rarest one to get. I'm just saying Martin Luther King Jr. also an INFJ.
From the description, it says the advocate personality type is very rare,
Yeah.
making up less than 1% of the population, but they nonetheless leave their mark on the world. I don't.
You're listening to the Triplefour podcast. 3 of your hosts are Martin Luther King Jr.-esque.
God damn.
But now,
Basically, fuck you, Nick.
but I agree, Maddie.
I guess I'm just not gonna leave my mark on the world.
Well, I also got the same result you did on the newest test, so I guess you shouldn't feel too bad because you're an incredible host who's really creative and amazing and not very assertive and doesn't like conflict.
Make this movie.
Now, Josh, you have to decide. Are you going to ride with the INFJs or are you going to go with the ISTJ?
I would probably say I'm more or like.
You cut out. You said I.
I would say. Look, you cut out halfway through that.
Yeah.
So
everything's fucked. See,
I would say I am more ISTJ.
Thank you.
That's something.
Thank you. And Nick, are you going to be an introvert or an extrovert?
Well, I mean, I'm practically right down the fucking middle. It says 51 introvert.
And that's why you have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm given the choice, I prefer to be alone.
All right. Well, I was kind of hoping you would take E so that we'd have a little bit more spice in this podcast.
Oh, jeez. Okay, don't get me wrong. I like that too, but given the numbers.
Yeah.
Anticipation. The final numbers here, there are only 2 MLKs on this podcast, so I'm glad we got that sorted.
Yeah, I was gonna say now you know a little bit more about your hosts. As you know, I'm an advocate. I'm Martin Luther King. Maddie's kind of like that too. Very peaceful.
Because mine has never changed, so I'm just saying I'm more MLK than you are.
Mine wasn't either.
Yours changed.
No, it was hacked.
You're not a true INFJ, dude.
The Russians got into the results. Well, now you know a little bit more about us. You know. You know what's up.
All us introverts.
Look, things are crazy is leaking into this segment, and it's not all right.
You got a bunch of introverted podcast hosts who don't like conflict or being assertive. So here we are. And speaking of conflict and being assertive, there's something we like to do on this show that we've done in the past where we like to consider certain persons of note for an honor that we have around here called the Triplefour Hall of Fame. And we also, conversely, have the Triplefour hit list. It's been a few episodes since we've nominated anybody to these ranks, and it's time that we make some additions. Now, here are the rules. I asked everybody to come up with a nominee for each of the lists. We are all going to present our nominees, and then we must collectively decide on only one to be added to each list today. So it's a committee vote. Now, I want everybody to present their answers first, and then we'll decide. Then we'll have deliberations. Let's start with the Hall of Fame. Who you got, Josh?
I had Rod Serling.
Okay.
So everyone, he most famous for Twilight Zone, but he also did the screenplay for Planet of the Apes.
It's a good film. Maddie?
Maybe this is a little overrated, but I'm throwing Robert Pattinson one. I watched some interviews with him recently, and I realized, oh, you're fucking weird, and you act really quite well in all these films, and you become these totally insane characters that are, in fact, very different from you as a person. So I gotta give him props. I watched Good Time, and I had a bad time watching it, but all around a good time, so...
See, now, if you were a more attentive listener, you would know that we've actually discussed Robert Pattinson for the Hall of Fame before.
Exactly.
We're running again. I don't know what to tell you.
All right. Well, he's been added to the ballot of this episode. Nick?
Question.
Yes?
Does it have to be pertaining to film?
No. I actually would prefer if it were not at this point. Because we've
No one fucking told Me the rules.
Well, you can change it. If you got like 2 minutes to change it. Nick, go ahead.
I had something written down, but I'm actually gonna change it because the thing that I have written down makes no sense, really.
It's not even a person. It's just some letters that you scrawled on a notepad.
There's a bunch of personality types.
It said RFJT.
I actually wanted to nominate Google, but we're gonna change that.
Is that
I say
a bit?
Tony Hawk.
Okay. Yeah, so my thought process was, and I didn't share this with you guys because we can still induct somebody who is from film world, but if you look at the current Hall of Fame rankings, which our current Hall of Fame ranks are Laura Dern, Christopher Walken, Jack Black, Jack Nicholson, Jim Carrey, and I think there was one more. I didn't have the thing in front of me, and that's why I'm a bad host.
The joke one, the joke entry.
Was there? I don't think there was a joke entry.
No, Kurt Russell's hat is in there.
Oh, Kurt Russell's hat. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
My apologies. And Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah.
And Willem Dafoe, I guess, also. So Laura Dern, Willem Dafoe, Kurt Russell's hat from The Thing, Tom Hanks, Christopher Walken, Jim Carrey, Jack Black, and Jack Nicholson. Now, if you're a keen listener, you'll notice that is all white guys from movies except Laura Dern. So my thought process was we need to expand a little bit. So my nominee this week, Maria Bamford. Now
Still pretty white.
She is white. This is true. This is true. This is true. But
I was really hoping for a little more diversity there, Dan. But
all right, Nick, name your female of color nominee. Go ahead.
It's me.
Yeah, it's Maddie.
Nope, she's a guest. She can't be in the Hall of Fame. As we decided at some point when we decided not to, we decided David Lynch couldn't be in it for some. You said because he's a friend of the podcast and he's on the podcast. So,
damn, that's true. I was going to ask because you said you were tired of me. I thought you were going to put me on the hit list.
Well, we haven't gotten to that segment yet, have we?
I actually wouldn't say I'm friends of the podcast anymore. I mean, after this whole ordeal, maybe we're like
that's fair.
I'm going to open the floor for deliberations now. The proposed nominees are Robert Pattinson, Rod Serling, Maria Bamford, and Tony Hawk. Now, you've heard my case. I'm trying to break the glass ceiling of the Triplefour Hall of Fame with somebody that we can all agree is fantastic.
Look, I still like
my answer's still Tony Hawk.
Mine's still Rod Serling.
Well, these are your... God damn it.
I'm saying.
I'll put in a vote for Rod Serling.
There you go.
Who's going to be the most assertive?
I do like Tony Hawk. I think that's a good answer. I take Tony Hawk. Oh, okay, Maddie, we said on the previous episode where we discussed Rob Pattinson that he's a young man with a lot to prove still. He still has a long career ahead of him. He can be in the Hall of Fame later on. And the Hall of Fame is reserved for people with meaty, long careers who have proven so much.
That's fine.
All right, she's conceded. She is...
Yeah, I'm putting my vote in for a good boy Rod, so...
Thank you.
And what is your issue with Tony Hawk?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, what is your issue with Tony Hawk?
I don't have an issue with Tony Hawk. He's cool. I've played some of his video games as a child. Cool. But, Rod has been there for me in a way that Tony Hawk never was. So
really?
Yeah.
I've never heard you talk about the Twilight Zone ever.
Really?
Not even once.
Oh. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I like it a lot. Grew up watching it. I watch it with my dad. It's our bonding time.
Some good bits. There's some good bits in there. Pretty good all around.
Great bits. Love those bits. Bits of bits.
Now, is this coming from a place of intuition or feeling?
A little bit of everything.
Those are different categories.
Coming from like
Yeah.
my 33% extroversion and my 70 whatever the fuck percent introversion. It's coming from every part, okay? But mostly it's coming from my 12% assertiveness.
Well, I don't feel like I'm going to sway Maddie or Josh on Maria Bamford, so I'm joining Team Tony Hawk at this point.
Hell yeah, dude.
So do we like fight to the death or something, or what?
Like, we could flip a coin since nobody's really that assertive.
That's the thing,
I'm pretty
I
assertive
like
about
both
this.
answers.
I'm taking my full 12% and putting it on Rod.
Like I love Tony Hawk. I even have his
He
fucking
said it.
autograph
You
in
just
my room.
said it.
You just said you fucking love Tony Hawk.
But I also love Rod Serling in Twilight Zone. Everyone
Yeah.
knows I fucking love
And
him.
by the way, I mean, he's already dead, so like...
Tony Hawk
Tony
still has a
Hawk-
lot
Tony
to
Hawk
prove.
could still... Yeah, he's got a lot to prove. And
He's got a lot to prove. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not the face of a fucking sport. More people know who Tony Hawk is.
Literally.
Tony Hawk still has room to fuck
You
up.
ever,
Yeah.
you ever played?
Sensible.
You
I
know
mean,
that there's
he's like
actually a game called
constantly-
Tony Hawk's Proving Ground, right?
Listen, I don't care what you guys have to say.
All right,
Tony
by
Hawk
that
shut
logic,
the fuck up. So I think Rod is our boy. He's already lived his full life, and it's only getting better from here.
like by that logic, then a lot more people know Tony Hawk than Laura Dern.
No one is saying Tony Hawk's a bad guy.
Wow,
They're
sounds
saying
like he
Rod
is
is better.
got a unanimous love being brewed in this chat.
So what the fuck is your guys' problem with Rod?
Not much.
I
Some Twilight
don't
Zone
have
episodes
one.
kind of suck though.
And that's his fault?
Later on, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Look, Tony Hawk, the last Tony Hawk game sucked ass. So,
Yeah.
I don't know that he had
There you
anything
go.
to do with that.
That is
well,
a,
you know,
that is a fair point. There were some bad. There were some bad Tony Hawk games. That is a fair point. But Underground and 1 through 4 and Underground 2 and American Wasteland.
All right.
Eye
look,
of the
it's
Beholder.
time for Tony
Monsters to do on
Hawk's
Maple Street.
Proving Ground. Dan, flip a coin, please, because I don't think
You
we're
know
gonna.
what? I actually don't trust Dan. Okay?
I just flipped a coin. It's a Tony Hawk win. Okay, I do have an idea. Everybody, first of all, everybody needs to get their fucking friends to follow the Triplefour podcast, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that. We need to have a poll. Let the fans decide.
That's a good idea.
I'm fine with
Okay. Yeah,
You can share it on social media. I don't know.
I'm game.
Okay.
And then they have to decide.
I am telling you though, I think the world at large is gonna rock with the Hawk, the Birdman.
I rock with the Hawk.
I know. If Nick posts this poll again, Nick, famously extroverted, post this on his Facebook page, Tony Hawk's gonna decimate.
Yeah, because he has his friend group is more oriented towards Tony Hawk than they would be towards Rod Serling.
Josh, you say that, but you know, I got a lot of friends that like Twilight Zone as well.
All right. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we'll we'll culminate the votes, and the winner will be anointed on the next episode. You guys can share it on your then you can get your friends to vote or whatever.
Spoken like a true
I
mediator.
will.
Maddie's gonna pay
Dan,
bots.
you really went the democratic route with this.
Yeah, I did. I'm an advocate though, so I'm advocating for Tony Hawk to win. All right, next bit, the hit list.
Oh, you're not gonna like this. I don't know. Maybe you will.
So Nick, start off with
Very
yours.
strong opinion from Nick so far.
Keep them guessing.
Yeah. So, of the movies that I have seen, which are quite a few, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Dennis Hopper,
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't like that.
terrible actor, the worst fucking actor. I don't care what anybody says. Everything I've ever seen, he is the worst.
This is Nick's last episode on the Triplefour podcast, and it's really a shame that he had to go out on such a horrible, sour note. Josh?
Mine's really elementary. It's Amy Schumer.
Ooh.
I think
Ooh,
that she
okay.
literally, during her time of popularity, she overshadowed comedians like Joe Firestone. who's on that Joe Parrott. Maria Bamford also actually had written down before we had that, and then Nikki Glaser, even though she has her own show, but I still think Amy like superseded her when she was at her height of her pop. So 3 other comedians that are female that have way better jokes than Amy, overshadowed by someone because her vagina and how she fucks.
Wow, really going to bat for Maria Bamford too late in the game. All right. Mad Zone?
Yeah. So I thought long and hard about this. And when I realized that I couldn't nominate Dan, I figured I would renominate Adam Sandler just to reiterate how much I deeply dislike him.
He's already on the hit list. This is...
Yeah, and I want to put him on there twice, okay?
I guess
I want to double up. I want a number 2 next to his name. ×2.
We should, I guess... yeah, so the current hit list...
Can we renominate Adam Sandler?
No, I'm not going to allow this.
Okay.
Well,
the current
Adam, so...
The current hit list
Actually,
is Joe Rogan, Adam Sandler, Bob Lazar, and Math.
What was the last one?
Math. The concept of math. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dan, I need your answer.
Oh, Robert Eggers is on there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
obviously.
duh.
Obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, my answer, my nominee is Jeff Bezos.
Ooh.
Jeff
That's a
Bezos.
cute one.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Josh, you got some legitimate competition because I really dislike that man. As much as
I'm gonna have to be with Amy on this one.
It's the same thing again.
The key thing here, though, is that Nick is out of his fucking gourd trying to nominate Dennis Hopper, one of the greatest American actors. And I'm really not having it.
Look, man, I'm just saying, he's...
When Dennis Hopper was on screen, did you want to turn off the TV? And if so...
Okay, that's a fair question.
Also,
and you're right.
I guarantee you haven't seen that many Dennis Hopper movies. You haven't seen Rumblefish. I have a I have a feeling you haven't seen Hoosiers. I have a feeling you haven't seen Easy Rider.
Wow.
So I think to be considered on the hit list, you have to have a strong urge to change either the movie you're watching, the channel if you're watching TV and he's on there, or just the TV is turned off.
I've seen all of those movies at least 100 times.
I'm so sick of your lies. What was it? Which personality type was liar and fiend and menace to society? Because that's what Nick's was. I strongly dislike Amy Schumer also. So
yeah, I do as well. I'm leaning towards Amy Schumer, even though I think Jeff Bezos is a despicable human being.
You guys had good.
I think Amy takes the cake here.
Well, the majority rules, I suppose, but it was a strong showing for the anti-Bezos crowd.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Maybe he'll be brought back to the table in a future deliberation. So, for this episode, there will be a vote on the Serling versus Hawk debacle. And Amy Schumer, you are now on the Triplefour hit list. Ooh, not funny. What's up?
Yeah.
Yo, you straight up suck.
And, Nick said some pretty fucked up stuff when he was talking about Dennis Hopper, and I think maybe it's time for Filmz.
Parasite, Midsommar, Jean-Luc Godard, Robert Eggers sucks. This is the time for Filmz theme song. It's over.
Now go ahead, talk about Blue Velvet.
I swear to God, Dan, I'm gonna come over there, and that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come over there.
And you're gonna give me the big C?
I knew.
You have to. Yeah, no, you have to deal with me being in the same space as you.
He's within
That's
6
your
feet.
punishment.
Well, after you said all the things that you said about Twin Peaks and Dennis Hopper, that is a punishment for sure. Just being around you.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna not like Dennis Hopper, and you're gonna have to deal with it. I watched Blue Velvet last night. It was good. It took me 2 weeks to fucking watch it because every time I tried, my internet was garbage, but I did it and I got through it. And I just want to know, David, what's with the Beatles? Not the band. I mean the actual Beatles.
The Beatles in the grass.
Yeah, the Beatles in the grass. What's up with that?
I have the answer.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to share it with you because, you know...
Because I don't like Dennis Hopper?
No, because, you know, you got some fucked up views on David Lynch's stuff.
God.
And
listen,
I just don't know if I...
Clear...
Also, I don't know if it would make for great airtime. So we can talk about it at some point. Actually, you should watch Mulholland Drive and then watch my video essay about David Lynch's films because I talk about it in there.
Oh, you have a video essay about David Lynch.
I do. It was part of my final project in film school.
Famously known from the podcast. Okay.
Famous friend of the podcast, David Lynch.
What's he up to right now? How do you think he's doing?
Do you need me to call him on Discord?
I would like that, yeah.
Okay, here, let me add him to the chat.
You know what's going to happen. Going to talk some nonsense and he's going to drink espresso.
Well, I know, Josh. We've been through this before.
Hello.
Hey, David.
Hi, David.
I heard you were talking shit.
Not about you.
About my good friend, Dennis Hopper?
Yeah, he's shit.
You are, buddy.
Well,
this is your battle, bud. I'm not going to...
I will fuck you
Josh,
up.
You're right. I picked this bone, and I'll have to deal with it.
Give me your address, you meatwad impressionist-looking motherfucker.
Oh, fuck.
It's really aggressive.
Okay, Josh.
I haven't meditated in weeks, and I've had 8 espressos today.
Told you about the espressos. What'd I say?
Yeah, oh, fuck. He said espressos again.
I bought a gun.
Okay,
Well, that's not going to do you much good if you're 6 or more feet away from me.
A gun will be very effective from 6 feet.
Yeah, but I'm very fast.
I heard you fucked up your back opening a vent.
He really gets information fast. That's great.
I've been listening to the podcast.
Live?
Oh, shit.
Wait a minute. Is he in?
You're dead, bucko.
Oh, man.
My good friend Dan also showed me some messages from Facebook about your misguided notes on the Twin Peaks series.
Yeah, he's got you on the rope.
Hey, look, man, I was paying attention, all right? I was trying.
He's on the top ropes right now.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh. Tomorrow?
He left.
Fuck.
That was pretty intense. For a guy who meditates and has like a foundation dedicated to people finding peace through meditation, that was pretty aggressive. You must have really offended him.
Wonder if I bought a 350.
Yeah, I've got to say, as a frequent listener of this podcast, that was the most coherent I've ever heard him before.
That is true.
I mean,
yes,
you woke something within him.
Yeah.
Yo, he straight up threatened me.
Yeah, he said he's going to see you tomorrow. Like he's going to be at your house. And he said he bought a gun. That was nuts.
He's going to but he didn't quarantine and get yelled at by the federal government.
Okay, I'm upset because he didn't say anything about the Beatles.
Well, like I said, you
could still hear about it tomorrow.
You could ask him if you can somehow dodge his gun that he said he bought. And considering how you got a fucked up back because you opened a vent like an old man, it's probably going to be pretty tough.
I mean, my back's getting better. So by the time David Lynch shows up tomorrow, I think that I'll be capable of dodging a bullet. If it should lead to that, I really hope that it won't, because I like to think that David is I'm not going to say reasonable man.
I can't say that. I've seen enough of his films to know that he's...
But maybe he'll have mercy?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's on a mission, dude.
He said, and I quote, "I'm going to fuck you up."
He did say that.
So at this point, he's not meditated in probably like 3 weeks. Dude's fucking losing it. He probably bought a 357
at Big A's from
Cabela's or
from
some
the
shit.
Boogeyman.
Yeah, somewhere. And so you better be doing some exercises for that back, because that man is gonna punching your doors down.
Very excited to hear about how it goes down on the next podcast if you're alive.
Yeah, live update that on live stream it actually on Facebook. That'd be.
Well, anyway.
I mean, I got pretty strong doors, but yeah. Anyway.
How far are you in Twin Peaks?
I want to say episode 7 of season 1.
Okay, so
I have only
done.
heard David on the phone. David hasn't showed up yet, which is good. I only heard him on the phone, much like real life.
I think he shows up in season 2, episode 1. There's 8 episodes in the first season, so you're almost done with season 1.
Right, and then season 2 is just insane.
Season 2 is
it jumps
22.
from 8 episodes to like 22 episodes.
Yeah, and the only like the first 8 or 9 of them are worth watching, and then the last one is worth watching. Well, I mean, you need to watch it all, or else it's not going to make any sense.
Well,
not any more sense than the lack of sense that it makes. But
the first 8 of season 2 are directed by David Lynch, and then somebody else took over.
No, he didn't direct all of them. He directed the first and the last episode of season 2 for sure. I know that for sure. And he probably maybe directed 2 or 3 other ones in the first stretch of 8 or so. But the first 8 or 9 are still good. But then he left the show at some point because I don't really want to spoil what happens, but you'll be able to tell like, oh, they went this direction.
Clearly he left the show because I said something about Dennis Hopper.
Well, that didn't help.
That definitely escalated things.
But this also happened in 1992, so something that's interesting to think about when you're watching that show is that it was the most popular show on TV for a while during the first season and the beginning of the second. It's pretty wild when you consider how fucking weird that show is.
It's pretty fucking out there.
Yeah, but season 2, episode 1 is amazing. I think it's probably my favorite episode of the original run. So enjoy that. Maddie, I know you watched a bunch of stuff. Anything you want to talk about?
I do. So last night I watched 3 movies in a row. I watched Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight.
Nice.
6 in the morning. And, I don't think myself to be the romantic type until I start watching movies. And then, the hopeless romantic in me comes out, and I find myself rooting for things I might not normally root for, or feeling flutters in my little heart. So, had a good time with that.
That one kind of swept you away, huh?
Yep. And then I watched it with a friend, and he was kind enough to tell me the backstory for it, what happened to the guy who wrote it. And that really hurt my feelings a lot more than I ever needed.
What is that? I'm not familiar with this.
He told me that basically this actually happened to him. Like he is guy in the movie, the author, but instead of writing a book, he made the movie. And then he made the second movie, and then the third movie, and he was at the premiere for the third movie, and the girl's friend came, and she was like, hey man, she died like a while ago in a car accident. So that's why you have not seen her, and your movies never came true, because she was dead and she couldn't.
Yeah, no, not until 2010 was Linklater informed that the girl had died in a motorcycle accident prior to the release of Before Sunrise.
Yeah.
Okay, so only the first movie is real then, because...
Well, but he didn't... Whatever. Listen, it was sad, okay? I didn't appreciate that. All right?
They talked about making more. I've read that they might make more.
They don't need to do that. The first 2 were good, and I really liked them. I thought they were concise and to the point. And, it's over such a short period of time, and it's really just them talking, but it's so, interesting. And then in the third one, it was like all of a sudden things were happening. Like other characters were relevant, and they were going and doing things, and they were in multiple locations, and there was stuff going on. and it just felt less like authentic to the first two, in my opinion. I also fell asleep for like, maybe 20 minutes in part of it, and so yeah.
From my memory, I like the first one the most, and the second one is cool the way it's shot, and the third one is just depressing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So yeah, I did that, and then I also watched Ghost Story, which I already talked to Dan about, and I just cried for like 40 straight. The first 40 minutes, there were just tears. Steady tears.
I need to point out how Maddie described her opinion of this movie, because this is the thing that she said I was being mean to her about. This is how she described her opinion. She was like, I watched A Ghost Story and I cried for the first half of it. Pretty good all around, lots of good bits. I cried the whole time, lots of good bits. So.
Okay, but then I followed up with an actual reason for why I liked it and what I liked about it.
Right.
So it was rude and unnecessary.
Yeah, I watched Schindler's List. Lots of good bits. Very, very good all around. Really fun.
Really groovy movie. So
It's kind of depressing after watching
I'm about to pull up the message that Dan sent me this morning.
He's really bringing this back.
Swear to God. I wrote these down before I went to bed last night because I stopped the movie a couple of times to write these down because...
Okay, let me at least read my part of the conversation.
No, fuck you. Okay, fine. I'll read what I wrote down in my tone, which was mostly a joke.
He's gonna read it like he's gonna read it like he's a helpless little sheep. He's gonna read it like, and I'm gonna read mine like an asshole, like a monster.
Because you are. I wrote these down last night as I was watching the movie. I stopped the movie because I wanted to pay attention to the movie because Dan asked me to watch this movie. Okay, I'll just read the notes.
Do it.
Because I was comparing, I said something about a callback to Blue Velvet in Twin Peaks days prior to this. So I just wrote down my notes of what I noticed was similar about Blue Velvet to Twin Peaks. I said, literal Blue Velvet in Twin Peaks, log truck in Blue Velvet more than once, and a lumber yard. They do live in a town named Lumberton. Kyle MacLachlan throwing rocks, in parentheses, poorly. The club with musical performances and red drapes. Abusive husband, Dennis Hopper, and Leo Johnson. Quite a few cinematic parallels between Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks. And then you said, talking about the previous conversation, you said David doesn't seem like the type for callbacks, but a lot of these are present, and I'm willing to say intentional. Also, this is a joke.
I knew it was a joke.
Laura Palmer, I'm just saying.
Okay, so he sent that.
I thought you would appreciate that I was paying attention.
Of course. I'm glad that you watched the movie because it's one of my favorite movies. Now, I didn't think I had to say that. I figured you would have known, but that's the context. Here's my response. All caps. Bruh. Those aren't even callbacks. They're just similar plot elements that Lynch uses a lot. It's like saying The Thing has aliens and They Live has aliens. Dude just likes to make movies with aliens. Things Lynch uses all the time. Diners, music clubs and venues, like red curtains, disturbed families, secrets within families, Pacific Northwest, lumber and pine trees, dreams, 50s Americana, people with odd physical components, Laura Dern. Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet are both about the unraveling of dark secrets in a small suburban town, so obviously they are similar. You've identified Lynch's auteurship.
That was the one that pissed me off.
And when you watch Mulholland Drive, you'll see there's diners, singers, dreams, and shit there too, but it's not a literal reference. It actually was intended to be a spinoff of Twin Peaks early on, but he rewrote it so that it wasn't directly referencing Twin Peaks. So all I'm saying is you got schooled. I mean, you went to school.
Okay, Dan?
Yeah.
Dan?
Not mean.
Take your piece of paper and you know what to do with it, okay?
Oh, shit. Somebody just joined the chat.
Oh, no.
I just heard the reenactment of the text chain. Dan's
What?
correct. Bye.
All right, Dan's paying off David Lynch.
You know,
It's official. I mean,
Isn't that nice?
that obviously was clear to me at an early stage of this podcast, but
What, that I was paying
now,
off David? I would never do that,
Yeah.
dude. I would never do that.
well, then I guess you're right.
Maddie, any other movies
Danny?
you want to talk about?
Yeah, I actually watched The Thing for the first time in my life. So now
so what's your review on the hat? Hold on.
I mean, it's like one of the greatest hats.
Okay, there you
Of
go.
course.
Cinematic.
All right, we're good.
444 Hall of Fame.
Anyway, now I'm in on the bit and I get it. Okay, so.
The Thing, great movie, lots of good bits.
Made me kind of
Good
sad.
thing, all around pretty good vibes.
Good vibe.
Vibe picture.
Lots of
Really
good
positive.
bits. Did you watch Brigsby Bear, Maddie?
Oh, yes, I did. I cried.
Oh my god, yeah, so did I. The 3 times that I watched it. It's fucking it's so good. It's so good.
Hey, it's Dan here, the advocate, yet again. I texted Maddie and I said, watch Brigsby Bear. And then she said, fine. She might have said, ugh, fine. And I said,
You basically, if I recall correctly, you threatened me and told me to
Good.
watch.
no, I said, I said, watch Brigsby Bear. You said, ugh, fine. And then I said, if you don't love it, you can shoot me with a gun. That's what I said.
That was basically a threat.
And you cried.
That's fair.
Lots of good bits, lots of good vibes. All around good.
Well, that's a good bit. Positive.
I kind of wish that I hated it so I could shoot you with a gun, but
Yeah, but that's why I took that risk, because I knew you wouldn't.
Exactly. You
Too many-
didn't.
Too many good bits, too many good vibes. And I think this has been time for films.
This is the time for Filmz theme song. It's over.
All right, we got one final segment. And Josh,
It's
take
a
it
new
away.
segment. It's a new segment called Questions That Have Plagued Mankind.
Who am I? Where do I belong? Where is the path? Questions that have plagued mankind.
I'm gonna hit with a very fast one. Why is Chucky?
Yeah, dude, you cut right out.
the whole thing gone.
I am anticipating this question.
The best
So?
segment. I heard the question. I don't know what your guys' connection issue is.
I heard,
but
why does Chucky?
Why is Chuck E. Cheese closed? Why?
Because he chugged the cheese.
that's true.
Yeah. I
Wasn't
was there when he did it, too. I was actually a witness, so.
it's owned and operated by a rat? That's not sanitary. They had to close it.
That was my answer. Was that damn ass rat?
Kids were chugging too much cheese, and they were gassing up the joint. So by nature of the CDC, they had to close the establishment due to contamination of
I'm
kids.
sorry. Josh, you cut out, and it just sounded like you said kids are cheese.
I heard kids are chug.
I mean, either way, that presents a serious issue.
And that's why it's
No,
closed.
it's because Louis C.K. showed up.
Oh.
Hmm.
So now we got the first one out of the way. After that
That's over.
train wreck of a question, this one has a lot more words. So I think I'm.
Type it. No, never mind. Just say it. No,
I'll
just say
say,
it.
and if something goes wrong, it's what it is by this point.
It's what it is.
And I'm posing the question exactly how it's written out. It's possible to eat a fish like Woody Woodpecker. And the subtext reads, He puts the whole fish in the beak, suck the meat, and then the bones come out. Is it, even if the fish is small for us, like sardines?
Wow. A lot
Wait,
to unpack.
I'm gonna need you to read that again. I am roped right now.
He chuggied the cheese.
He chugged too hard. So is it
Can
possible
you read
to eat
that one more time, please,
like Woody
Josh?
Woodpecker? Is it possible to eat a fish like Woody Woodpecker? I'll say it like about 4 more times. And I'll put a image into the Discord, so that way we can pull it up for the people
Please.
who look at the video on YouTube. Is it possible?
I mean, it's possible for him, I think. That's proven.
Yeah.
Is it possible for a regular dude?
Could Chuck E. Cheese do it though?
See?
I mean,
Old Chuck.
Charles
yeah.
Entertainment Cheese versus Wood Entertainment Woodpecker.
I mean, I think Woodpecker's going to take the cake here, but I feel like Chuck could make some progress.
Okay, so what if there's like a vacuum human combo deal we got going on here, where it can literally vacuum the meat off and then leave the bones, just like.
So, I mean, honestly, I don't see why that is such a preposterous thing to do. I mean, I think for a fish, it's a little weird, but I mean, you can take like a little chicken wing, homie, and pop the shit in your mouth and pull all the meat off. And you
that's
just touch
fine.
them.
Can I rewind to the phrase "vacuum the meat off"?
A chicken wing is one bone. We're talking about an entire fish.
Yeah, this is a whole.
It's a full skeletal
It's ribs
structure.
and all.
Conceptually, they're similar. So if you had some real talent and some real loose meat on the bone, I don't see why you couldn't mostly succeed. If you remove the head, I think it would be a lot easier. Maybe you get a rib, or two in your mouth, whatever. But you get for the most part, you finish the job.
If you've got a good meat vacuum, it's child's
Yeah,
play.
just vacuum the meat right off. It's easy. I don't know why we're not thinking about it.
All right,
we
Josh.
need a product that sucks the meat right off the bone and then feeds it to your family. So I have one more. Or should I feel bad for unfriending my aunt on Facebook?
No.
Yes.
So the subtext reads, she clogged my newsfeed with religious preaching up 10 times a day. Every single day, she's spamming my feed to the point where I can't see my friends and girlfriends. This is a long one, mind you. I only read the top. She'd also add her 2 cents to every comment thread between my friends and or my girlfriend on my post. She'll just pop up in the comments and run rampant. So
Ant run rampant. All right, here's why this is an easy answer. You can just unfollow her. You don't have to unfriend her. This is a key thing.
See, that's the thing. I feel like though, because if you unfollow somebody, can they still like direct message you? I feel like that is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so maybe that it because when you unfollow someone, it doesn't let them know. But I feel like when they unfriend her, because that was his first mistake, he unfriended her, so that alerts, and so now every time now she becomes his friend again, even if he unfollows her, she's still going to spam him with messages, maybe directly.
You can also mute someone on Face if she's sending direct messages. You can mute those.
But I feel like now with this implication, is if they live close by and have like family gatherings often, or that's just assuming it's gonna be really bad. It's gonna be
all right. To the question, man, you need to confront. Okay, if they're confronting you, then you have to confront them a little bit. It's gonna have to happen. If they don't take the hint from you not responding to their messages, then it's
you gotta gun them down or whatever.
Yeah, use a gun.
Yeah. Well, you know what I always
How's it
say? I just say buy a meat vacuum.
So do you send her a video of the meat vacuum and saying, "Yeah,
I'll suck your meat off.
I'll suck your meat right off,"
And then
Don't
send
you
him a
dare.
GIF. Send him a GIF of the Woody Woodpecker thing,
Yeah,
and
this is
say
gonna be
like this.
this is the fish.
Which I am saving right now.
See, so I'm facing a vaguely similar scenario to this person's post, but with a person who's not a member of my family and just consistently messages me, hey, over and over and over again. So I was going to take whatever advice we give, but I do feel that if I were to respond to this person with, I'll suck your meat right off, I'm sending the wrong message.
No, impossible. You got to do it. That's the only way.
The only kind of confrontation to have with this individual.
This is definitely what you have to do. You
As
have to send a
someone
pic.
who doesn't like confrontation.
You have to send a pic of the Woody Woodpecker image and with no context, with no not even an explanation, and that's all.
I feel like if you just tell them you will suck their meat right off, they're really like you. They can't really go any. Like you have all the leverage at that point.
Yeah, but see, then instead of getting hey, I'm gonna get win.
When's the sug commencing?
And then you send the picture
When
of
are
Woody
you
the
gonna
Woodpecker.
thug? That's all I'm gonna get. I think I prefer hey.
And
Maybe
this has
you
been.
guys should each individually message this person and say, "I'll suck your meat right off."
Oh, please give me their information. I'll tell them I'll suck their meat off right now, like as soon as we get off this conference.
Message them, say Rod Serling or Tony Hawk.
Yeah. See, yeah.
Yes, I'll suck your meat right off.
Also,
quick question, and that has been questions that have plagued mankind.
Questions that have plagued mankind.
all right, it's been a long one. I think we did like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Nice and meaty. Nice and
Suck
meaty.
the meat right off.
Lots of meat to be sucked right off.
You can suck this podcast right off of your Spotify streams, your Apple iTunes, whatever. Hey, listen to the 444 podcast on all your favorite streaming services. Follow us. We're at 444 Pod on Twitter, 444 Podcast on Instagram, 444 Podcast on Facebook. Like it, share it with your friends. I'm so tired of you just sitting there listening by yourself like a lonely fuck. Okay? Stop. Let your friends enjoy the bits too. What do they
and
think?
also make sure they vote for Rod.
Yes.
It's debatable.
Huh.
But thanks for listening. Thanks, Anchor FM. It's been a wild one. Tune in on Wednesdays for new episodes of the 444 Podcast. Thanks. Bye. Later.